Oops. I pressed stop by accident. So just continuing the lab. Reactivity trends in the periodic table. Nothing's happening with the silicon. The aluminum's floating on the surface, but I think that's just because it's got some air bubbles in it. Whereas with the magnesium, we're starting to see a little bit of a chemical reaction right there. You can see some bubbles. So the magnesium is reacting even just with the water. Carbon and water, really no evidence of anything. It's just sitting there. Let's go back to the fume. Carbon and acid. This is a tricky one. I think it's probably just caught a bubble down here. I would expect to see little bubbles collecting on the surface if there was a real reaction. There's not supposed to be a reaction, but I can't rule out the possibility that there might be one, especially if there's any kind of impurities on the surface of the carbon. Here we're seeing the aluminum. This is an interesting one. It's kind of tricky as well. I added it to 6 molar acid. Saw a pretty powerful reaction. Now with the 3 molar acid, not really sure if there's anything going on. The last part of the lab, we're going to go outside. I have the following materials. I have water in plastic tub there. I have 3 molar acid. I also have sodium. Notice with the sodium, the humus on this. It's flammable and it's corrosive. I would never have you guys use it on your own because it makes a solution that's pretty much like Drano that'll eat away at your skin. I'm actually going to have to it's going to be a little tricky. While we're going outside. Sodium is kept in mineral oil because otherwise it will react with anything else, including air. I'm going to put a bit of the sodium onto the tip of this meter stick, and then I'm going to tip it into the water at a distance. You can't see it, but what's happening here is the sodium is floating on the water. It's floating on the water because it instantly reacts with water and produces hydrogen gas. The hydrogen gas acts like a little flotation device around the piece of aluminum. When this gets more intense, which it sometimes will and sometimes won't, the hydrogen gas will become a light, and there is an explosion. Sometimes it's happened, sometimes it doesn't. The last reaction will be between hydrochloric acid and sodium, and I'm going to have the same safety precautions for this. It could be the hydrochloric acid that the sodium will only react with the water anyways. So we may see as powerful a reaction, but we could see even something more powerful. We're about to find out. So as you can see, the reaction is instant. It's a similar reaction. We have a lot of intense bubbling. If I could get a thermometer in there, we would see a temperature increase. In fact, what we've also got going there, it's too bad this isn't, we don't have dark here, but we just had some sparks as hydrogen gas that's created in this reaction is also then burning. The interesting thing about this chemical reaction, or an interesting thing about it, is that the products of the chemical reaction are harmless. We're starting with sodium, reacting it in hydrochloric acid, and if I balance my the chemicals we're reacting properly, I would get salt and water. It doesn't look like we're going to get an explosion today, and I'm okay with that.